All right, Shalom. First off, give all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Karkadash, the honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring, and truth and sincerity in the women and children who follow. As you can see, this article that I have is talking about, well, there's a title. It says, "Is France showing us what America's next civil war will look like?" All right, and this is from Philly.com. Okay, their Inquirer, their news or their newspaper. So through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through this article and I'm gonna show you a video and go through the scriptures and just tie everything together, man. Because this is what we've been talking about. We've been talking about civil unrest here in America, and if you've been paying attention to France, that's exactly what's going down, man. It's utter chaos. All right, they've been putting them heavy taxes and austerity measures on them, and the people not taking it. So the people are fighting back. All right, and that's why this is actually a beautiful article that this Edomite wrote. More likely he's an Edomite 9 times out of 10, but it's accurate. Is this showing us what America's gonna look like? Because it's a lot of that's going to go over here. Now, this first part is more like a hypothetical situation of how we can get there or whatnot. So I'm gonna skip over that. Um, Let me see. It says Paris is burning. You think the rapid decline of Western civilization will get more news coverage in America? Normally, flaming brigades in the shadow of the iconic Arc de Triomphe and hundreds fleeing tear gas in the heart of the French capital might be considered must-see TV, especially when the other caption is a panel of aging Watergate prosecutors. But the latest chess moves in the Trump-Russia scandal and the embattled White House continue to trump most other headlines. Basically, what they're saying is it's basically they're not talking about it. This should be on every news station in America, but you don't see this on CNN. You don't really see it on Fox News or any. It's not on the front page of your newspaper. It's buried. They're not really trying to push this story because they know that this is gonna come over here and they don't want to spark the idea like, hey, like they doing it, we need to do it too. They're trying to control the narrative basically. It says still, Saturday's news outlet in the City of Light, now illuminated by the glowing of flaming cars, was both shocking and yet somewhat familiar, as the protests engulfing France raged into a fourth weekend with no immediate end in sight. This round of massive police presence and army, really some of 89,000 officers, turned Paris into a police state. Alright, that's martial law. 89,000 officers, okay? When the army is in your city and they're of authority, that's martial law. It's official martial law in Paris right now. Okay? With most tourist attractions and high-end stores boarded shut at the height of the holiday season, the law officers sought to put a lid on the so-called yellow vests or the gilets jaunes before things got out of hand. Tear gas and water cannons were deployed early and often, and 1,400 were arrested in an effort to limit damage from the caisseurs. It says young men out for violence, basically. It says the protest continued even though the French President Emmanuel Macron has promised to roll back a fuel tax, part of the government's response to climate change. So, like I said before, that's the main reason why they were protesting because they were going to add an extra fuel tax on, and their gas is already high. So, the people wasn't having it. So even though he said he's going to take it back, they're still not with the shits. Because they know that, what I'm saying, at the end of the day, he's still a bitch ass nigga. All right, they really don't like their president. And these are all similarities to what's going on here in Babylon and here in America. Because nobody likes Trump. Nobody likes Trump. Well, I ain't going to say nobody, because you do have a solid number of people who love Trump. You have those Trump supporters. But there's nobody sitting on the fence. You either love Trump, okay, or you hate him, Me personally, which my opinion really doesn't matter, but I'm all for Trump because Trump's going to get this ball rolling for us to get salvation. He's the one that's going to be the catalyst to help get us out of here, man. So Trump, keep on doing what you're doing, Yeah, so even though, they're trying to take back the fuel tax, the people ain't having it. Okay, it says, with plans to address the nation Monday on a televised plea to end the unrest, and I was actually watching a little bit of it. He's like, if there's anything that I've done, if you guys don't trust me, I'm sorry. If you feel like I don't care, I'm sorry. So basically, he's trying to kiss their ass to get them to stop rioting. But you can't do that, man. You can't do that. You're a snake. And you already bit them. So why should they trust you? That's like I was with my daughter not too long ago, and she was watching one of those old little nursery rhymes with, I believe it was like the snake and the hare, or it was a fox. I believe it might have been a fox or a turtle or something. I don't know. It was one of them animals, but he had to get from one end of the from one dry land to the other, and there's a river, and he got on his back. So he bit him. Okay, he bit him, and they both drowned basically. And he's like, man, why you bite me even though you gonna drown too? He's like, man, that's my nature. That's the so-called white man's nature. You know what I'm saying? Just to be that piece of shit asshole. So they're not gonna take that shit no more, even though they the same people. But that's just how much of an asshole they are, because they're that much of an asshole to their own people. But let me get on with this. It says, I imagine one's reason the mayhem in Paris hasn't been viewed with much alarm here in the United States is the notion of French exceptionalism, that those crazy Gauls have always gone off the deep end with their protests. Remember 1789, and this is just one more. Basically, they're saying, France always goes off the deep end, and that's to be expected. It's just modern times of them going off the deep end, but it really is more than that, man. It's an underlying problem. It's an underlying issue that's going on in the world. Really, it's prophecy. It's prophecy that this is going on, and that vibration, that same spirit is going to transfer over here to America. So I'm going to put this article in the description, and if you want to get more into it, y'all can get into it. But I'm going to play this video real quick, and we're going to get in these scriptures.
One of the world's oldest democracies is engulfed by rage. Thousands of protesters from every corner of the country flooded the streets of Paris for the fourth weekend in a row. Parce que les forces de l'ordre ne veulent pas que l'on pénètre ce passage de l'étoile. We witness the unrest transform the city. The Gilets Jaunes, or Yellow Vest movement, started last month when working-class people from the countryside rose up in response to a fuel tax increase. President Emmanuel Macron announced to repeal the tax. for? For who? I buy it for the police. Why? Because I'm not here for fight. I'm here for justice, and this is not justice. Some protesters did come to fight, hurling stones, torching cars, smashing windows. At least 2,000 were arrested nationwide.
It's coming to America, man.
On the morning of the protest, Paris felt like it was on lockdown. Monuments, shops, and subways were shut. At least 8,000 police and security officers were deployed.
Now, like I said, man, this is official martial law. Did you see that Humvee? Did you see that truck? See if I can.
Felt like it was on lockdown. Monuments, shops, and subways were lockdown. Monuments, shops, and subways.
Here we go. Look at that. Look at that joint. That's official martial law right there. The difference is, in Europe, the police don't have guns. Could you imagine if the people don't have guns either? So that's why it's been going on for 4 weeks, and it's been so-called this many thousand people go to jail. This many thousand people go to jail. This many number of people injured. There hasn't been many deaths because there's no guns. The police don't have guns. The people don't have guns. But in America, the police carry guns. The people have guns. So when this comes to America, it's going to be a homicide. It's going to be a bloody scene. All right, especially with the military being in there.
Subways were shut. At least 8,000 police and security officers were deployed. We traveled around the city to hear from different groups of protesters. We met some of those who joined more recently. Students, environmentalists, and union organizers. They were all united in their opposition to the government, but leaderless and without clear demands.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, man, like you just said, they don't have no official list of demands. There's no one person that they can come to try to get to the government to negotiate. So they're just gonna be out there until, who knows what, But in interest of time, we're gonna get into these scriptures real quick. A few that I wanted to gather. This is Isaiah 13. I'm gonna start at verse 14. It says, "And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land." All right, so that's total and utter confusion. Okay, it's gonna be a really like you seen the video. You seen how it was, smoke bombs going off and cars on fire. The police over here, the protesters over there. It's just it's gonna be wild, man. That's just the beginning. Once you get into the martial law and all the other aspects, once the famine kicks in and they chipping people, they throwing people in concentration camps, once all that starts popping off, man, it's like I said, man, it's gonna be a homicide. It's gonna be a bloody scene. It says everyone that is found should be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. All right, so that's our people, man. If you want to be with this so-called white man, right, when Yahweh Shemashai rose on them, then that's gonna be your judgment, man. You lay with them. You're saying you could die with them. It says their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. That's what's gonna be going on in those days, man. It's a time that never was before, and that's never gonna come again. So I mean, mentally, physically, spiritually, you got to be prepared for this and know what's gonna go down. Okay, this is Matthew 24:6. It says, "And you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Okay, so this is a rumor of war, a rumor of a civil war, a war from within that's going to help break up this nation, and it's going to allow them to put their plan in motion, because civil unrest can lead to martial law, which can lead to famine, which can lead to everything else popping off that I just named. Okay, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." It says, "All these are the beginning of sorrows." All right, this is just the beginning, man. This is the intro to the final chapter of Yahweh Shem Shai's plan. There's one more scripture I'm gonna get. Give me a second here. All right, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." That's exactly what we just seen in the video. That's exactly what we just read in the article. Okay, it says, "And there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another." Sedition is going against the government. That's exactly what we just read and seen in the video in the article. "They shall not regard their kings nor princes." They said that they want Macron to resign, and that's what's going to go over here. You already got people calling for Trump to be impeached, or for him to resign or get out of office. It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and not be able. That's a key point right there, because you've seen that big ass truck that the military had. They got them here too, and when they deploy them here, all right, they're set up to keep everything on lockdown. All right, curfew, can't come out the house past this time. You come out, we busting your ass. You subject to being shot on sight. You might go to jail. You go to jail. It's probably gonna be a concentration camp. You're probably gonna get chipped. Okay, all these things it flows into each other. Okay, it says, "For because of the pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." All right, that's what's gonna go on here, man. One more verse. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation." All right, it's gonna be a great tribulation. Like I said, a time that never was before. It's coming to America. They blocking it out. They don't want to show you what's actually going on around the world. They want you to be dumb. They want you to talk about Cardi B and Offset. They want you to talk about the Rams getting beat by the Bears. They want you to talk about LeBron James, or this baseball player, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Bread and circuses, man. That's what they put in front of your face, so that they can give you the okie doke Kansas City shuffle, behind your back. But with that being said, call all this all praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, and the women and children who follow. Shalom.